Well, Highdeology chat has started already. You hear it? Oh man, dude. As you guys get more numerous, they get more numerous. Have I played Monster Hunter? Yes, indeed, I have. I've been playing Monster Hunter World. I bought it with the money I won at the casino. And I've been playing. Which weapon? I use the lance. I'm a lance main with a heavy bow gun side skill. Or whatever. My best set and weapon and stuff is lance, though. Lance is just so dirty. Like once you learn how to abuse it, it's so dirty. Like you're basically just, especially like I got the Uragon shit, so. Yeah, you don't see a whole lot of Lancers, so that's cool. Watching all the old gay references on older DP has a whole new context since you came out, really. What up, homie? Hey, Paul, I heard you play Smite. Do you ever play with fans? I mean, I don't really play Smite all that often. But I have played with some fans, I think, before. I think so. Dude, I liked the glaive until I figured out that, like, you're really not supposed to be all airborne and shit all the time. You're doing less damage than if you were just comboing on the ground. And I was just like, oh. Like, I thought I was supposed to be a dude that just kind of flew around all the time, but really you should only use that if you're trying to mount. Because you just do fucking way less damage. So I was just like, oh, insect glaive kind of sucks. Okay. I'd rather have something that, you know what I mean? What's being talked about? Oh, Monster Hunter. I'm geeking on Monster Hunter right now. Dude, I saw that. Alex Jones likes traps. Who could have thunk it? It's frogs, man. You don't like frogs? Oddly enough, I'm not getting my wisdom teeth removed because of why most people do. Mine actually grew in functional. I'm getting them removed because my shit genetics gave me shit teeth. Oh, that sucks. Well, I still have my wisdom teeth. So, I never had mine pulled. They seem to be okay. Sound like baby geese. Yeah, I don't know, man. They're some strange kind of tree frog or something that lives out in these woods. You signed up for Pathways yet, Paul? No, not yet. Not yet, dude. Something tells me it's like super expensive. Probably wouldn't be worth it for the meme. Although I think it would be fun to go there and go through it and, like, you know, try out all the different methods and go to all the different conferences and try and, you know, give it a real go. See if they can restore my faith in humanity. Have it be a patron goal, yeah. I've been in LA too long. I see the same bitches everywhere I go. Ducks. I don't know about ducks, dude. Whoa. Machiavelli or Tupac? It's the same guys. Machiavelli was another one of his names. You trying to test my street cred, homie? The only thing they're going to restore is your hatred for the human race. Okay. Well, I guess the frogs are done. Right. No, that's a good question. Notorious B.I.G. or Biggie Smalls? I don't know, man. Dude, is that the real Megan Fox? Hey, Megan Fox, I just want you to know that I don't care about your stumpy thumbs. I don't care about your stumpy thumbs, okay? I think you're still pretty, even with the weird thumb disorder that you have. I think you're okay. I'd still, you know what I mean? Just so you know. No problem. I just, I love that shit, dude. That's one of those things about the internet that I find pretty hilarious when you see dudes like legitimately like critiquing every little aspect of a chick. And, I look at the chick and I just think, wow, she's a hot chick. But then you'll see dudes like, oh, her teeth are fucked up, or, her toes look weird, or she's got a little bit of a belly, or her ass isn't big enough, or her face is weird. And I'm just like, who are these dudes? Like, who are these guys? Like, any one of these dudes, like, would jump at the chance to bang this chick. But for some reason online, everybody's a fucking Don Juan DeMarco, who can just like, no, crookedy tooth, get out of here. Not hot enough. Crookedy tooth, go. Hair's too short, go. Nose is weird, go. It's like, no, dude. If a girl that was half as hot as this approached you in real life, you'd be like, yes, ma'am. Oh, yes, ma'am. Of course you know what they look like. They look like me. But at least I'm not doing that, you know what I mean? I think you were right about Louis C.K. I know I was right about Louis C.K. Been getting into black metal recently. You have any artists in the genre you enjoy? Other than Burzum, which I don't even know if that's black metal. I think it is black metal. Burzum. I like them. But only because I saw that there's a documentary called Until the Light Takes Us. And it's about Euronymous and what's his name, and the slangs and the church burnings and stuff in Sweden surrounding black metal. And for some reason, I don't really like black metal. I can't listen to any of the rest of it, but if I put on Burzum, I can dig it. There's an element to that I can get. I don't know, that one band. And I started listening to it because of that. Yeah, Varg, there you go. I started listening to Burzum because of that documentary Until the Light Takes Us. It's like Burzum, Burzum, but it's pronounced Burzum. Do you have to roll the r? Any Swedes in here or Nordic folks that can help me with that? Is it Burzum? You have to roll the R, huh? R. You got to trill it, Burzum. I don't know. I think you have to trill it, but I don't know. It's very strange that Sweden has the trilling that Mexico has. Yeah, I know Mexico trills too, but I'm pretty sure that Norwegian has trills. I wish there was one in here, but it's probably like 3 in the morning over there. Depends on where in Norway you are. Oh, that's cool. It's not like Chewbacca. Well, not like. My trill is pretty good. I've been told I've got a good trill. Burzum. Aye, laddie. Oh, Scots do too. You're right. You're right. You're right. They do. They tend to trill their R's. You're right. I like the trill. It's a very strange, glottal thing that we do. It's kind of a shame that you don't do it in English for anything. You gotta. Yeah, it's a tough one. What's your fave French accent? Turns me on. French? Yeah, French is a cute accent, but I don't know, dude. I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of a sucker for the rougher accents in the English pantheon. Australian. What's that English accent? Because there's a bunch of different ones. What's it called? Scouse? I really like Scouse. Scottish is kind of a hot one too, but Scouse is really probably my favorite accent genre. A girl from Finland talked to me when I was in Amsterdam. Dude, Finnish chicks are crazy. They're crazy. Kiwi is it's very nasal. It's up here. Oi. Oi, brew. Oi. You're beached. You're beached is. You're beached is, brew. You're mental. Yeah. Yeah, that real, kind of in the back of their throat, kind of, yeah. Finns sound like Russians. Well, that makes sense. I mean, Finland and Russia are connected, so it makes sense that they would share at least some. Is there any similarity between Finnish and Russian from a language standpoint? Do they share any basis? I don't really like the Russian accent. I mean, I'm not, it's just not it's not my favorite. I'm inbred? What? You can buy a Finnish island for about 200,000 euros. Cool. Who would want one, though? Wouldn't it be just like a frozen rock out in the middle of the frozen ocean? North Korea and Norway are only separated by one country. Hey, that's true. Greenland, right? No, wait. North Korea and... Oh, wait. What? Oh, yeah, Russia. Yeah, because... I get it. Wait, no, what? Hold on, I gotta think about the globe now, because you're fucking me up. North Korea and Norway on the outside, are only separated by one country. Guess you'd have to go that way. So you'd have to go east. So yeah, through Russia, and then to the other side is North Korea. Yeah, you're right. Okay. All right, I got it figured out. Sorry, I just had to do my China, whatever. Same difference. Same difference, dude. China, Russia, whatever. How loud can I clap? I can clap pretty loud. The key to a loud clap is to cup your hands a little bit. You don't want to do that palm against palm. You want to give it a little resonance chamber and then collapse that as you clap. So you want to start like this and then let the hit happen there and then flatten the hands. That's the loudest clap. Why are you know so much? I don't know. How loud can you make that booty clap? Dude. I can make it sound like there's a whole studio audience watching. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Those are not birds, those are frogs. Yeah. Yes, those are frogs. And they like to sing at night. Which gender has the best ass, if you had to imagine women? Women by far. Yeah, ladies have got the butt game on lock. Just too pleasingly big and round, you know what I mean? Are you sure you ain't just tripping? I'm pretty sure. Maybe I am. I'm pretty sure. What drug you done, Mo? Front hole or back hole? Any hole. All holes. At once. If you could get a Guinness World Record for anything, what would it be? I don't know. What kind of Guinness would be cool to have? Because a lot of Guinness Book of World Records, they're not cool. You know what I mean? They wouldn't be cool to have. Like, I ate the most clams in one sitting. Like, nobody's going to be like, oh, yeah, dude, that's interesting. You know what I mean? So it'd have to be something cool. How about, like, most people saved from burning buildings? That'd be a cool one to have. That one you could brag up. You could be like, you know, I've got the Guinness Book of World Records record for most people pulled out of burning buildings, you know. I've been in LA too long. I see the same bitches everywhere I go. What, T. Jilly, why are you why do you play with fire? You see other people gay spamming and you just like throw yours in there hoping to get banned? I see you in here a lot. Dude, one day you're gonna get some shrapnel and I'm not gonna unban you either. Would you rather be a vampire or a werewolf? That's a good question. Assuming, like, can we make the presumption that werewolves have the same kind of vitality and like lifespan as a vampire? Because that's always been up in the air for me. Do werewolves age normally as humans, or are they protected from that? I'm wondering. I don't know what canon is on werewolves. Like, I'm pretty sure it's been both ways. I think I've heard it both ways. I think I've heard that, like, you know, while they're in human form, they age normally. And then I've also heard that it confers vitality upon them. You know what I mean? A greater sense of vitality, and they're either way longer lived than normal humans, or, you know, functionally immortal like vampires. So, yeah, that's a tough question, man. Because there's a lot of powers involved. There's different kinds of werewolves, and there's different kinds of vampires, right? So I've seen in fiction werewolves, for example, which go totally bestial. In fact, I think that's probably what most people associate with werewolves. But I've seen in fiction werewolves that retain a little bit of their intellect when they go into werewolf form and have limited control over when they shift in and out of their werewolf form. So, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a question where I'd have to ask the particulars of what kind of werewolf and what kind of vampire. You say you'd rather be a vampire, but look at Nosferatu, right? Would you want to look like that? If that kind of vampire is what you see, there's different kinds of vampires in fiction. There's vampires who are twisted physically by their curse, by their vampiric curse, or however you want to put it, like Count Orlok, right? Or Gary Oldman's Vlad Dracul, right? Even though he could kind of throw up a glamour and become young, you could see him in his normal form. He was very old and twisted and obviously evil by it. So, you know, and then you've got like the Interview with a vampires who are forever youthful, forever young. They're not twisted by their disease, unless, of course, they're horribly scarred and disfigured in a fight or something. So I don't know. There's a lot of ins and outs to talk about. I can't make the choice, because you know, there'd be bonuses to both, depending on the type. I've not seen a single episode of Discovery. Here's my tithe. Thanks, Tucker. Thanks. I appreciate the tithing. I don't think a vampire dies of starvation. See, here's how it's handled in like Vampire the Masquerade, which is like the role-playing thing. If you get hungry enough, you enter a state called torpor, where it's like you're dead, but you're not. It's like you're physically dead and you'll lay there, but your body won't rot. And it's like, you know, it's like a regenerative resting sleep that can last for generations. So a vampire that's really injured, sick, or hungry can enter a state of torpor where they don't die, but they're just basically a dead body until, you know, they've rested for long enough for their body to regenerate enough for them to get up and try and feed again. Being a vampire would be awful. I mean, it just depends, you know. Depends on your perspective. You know, if interviewed with a vampire is to be believed, then it's possible to feed on a human being without killing them. So you could just kind of, you could be a non-murdering vampire and get around that. But the powers that vampires have, you know, flight, that's cool. Yeah, super strength, super speed. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I don't know, man. I don't think it's underrated. At least not in my estimation. I watched it once. It had some cool moments in it, but I felt like it was trying too hard. Does that make sense? Anybody that's seen it? I felt like the movie was trying too hard to be cool and stylish. It didn't feel like it was organically cool and stylish. It felt like somebody made it because they were like, I want to make something cool and stylish. And you could feel that trying to be cool thing. And really, when something's genuinely cool, it's organically cool. Exactly. Organic. It does. You don't have to play it up. You know what I mean? It's without the U, so Torpor. I've seen vampires that could turn into a wolf on certain formats. Yeah, that's true. Well, that is, like, I think the original Dracula, as he was conceived by Bram Stoker, could turn into a wolf and a bat and could appear as rats and darkness. So that's kind of cool if you get to be that kind of vampire. You know what I mean? Got all these shape-shifting options. Ever seen Fright Night? Best vampire movie. I don't know if it's the best vampire movie, but it is a favorite of mine. Classic 80s flick. The remake is actually not bad. They did something interesting with it. They made it different. Like, they really updated it. Instead of going for a shot-for-shot remake where they just kind of, like, recast the film and remake it with a bunch of, you know, better CGI and stuff, they updated it. And it was actually kind of interesting. I don't think people liked it, but I kind of liked it. It was one of those remakes that I didn't mind. Yeah, I thought the remake was actually kind of spooky. I was like, whoa. It didn't really have the same comedic tone of the first one. They dropped that in favor of a way more serious story, but I liked that. It made it feel like a new movie, you know, instead of just a rehashing of something I'd seen already. So it's pretty cool. I'll let my scalp breathe for a minute, man. Ugh. Look at this hair. Yeesh. There we go. That feels a little better. For some reason, that picture you guys chose of Dr. Phil looking at an empty plastic bottle made me laugh for longer than. Oh yeah, dude. TJ found that, and I was chuckling at it all night. Yeah, an actual remake. Yeah, like taking the basic idea of the film and remaking the film into something new. My favorite werewolf film is Ginger Snaps. Certainly American Werewolf in London would be high up there. But Ginger Snaps for my money. I've recently been thinking about the new Matrix movie that got announced a while back, where it wouldn't be a remake, but it'd be another story in the same universe. Oh yeah. I totally agree. That's what they need to start doing with Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like, distance it from the old films and start making some new properties and characters, and stop basing all the films around send-offs. Like, how lame is it that Disney is literally making 3 movies that are basically just send-offs for old characters? Han Solo dies in the first one. Princess Leia is going to die in the last one. Luke dies in the second one. Paul, what would you do if you were trapped in a Groundhog's Day loop? I mean, the same shit that happened in the movie, probably. You'd eventually just test every possibility. You'd learn the routine of everybody in the little town. Do you read Sutter Kane? Do you see? Do you see? Wish I had the double pupils. Wish I could duplicate my pupils on demand, because that would have been a cool moment. For those of you that don't know, it's a reference to a really, really underrated movie, in my opinion, from the 90s, called In the Mouth of Madness with Sam Neill. Sam Neill in the lead role. Kind of a Lovecraftian horror film that's super over the top, but that's what makes it good. I really like that movie. I'm glad you liked it. Hey, if you liked that and you haven't seen it, check out Event Horizon, also with Sam Neill. And kind of in the same vein, a little Lovecraftian horror movie, this time in space though, which is cool. Yeah, those kind of 90s horror movies have a lot of charm to them. Groundhog's Day is actually a horror movie. I'd hear the argument. I like Twin Peaks. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I watched it as a younger person. I used to love how weird it was. I had it all on tape and shit. What's Twin Peaks? It's a old TV series, directed by David Lynch. What are your thoughts on the new upcoming Halloween film? Don't have a lot of hope for it. Don't have a lot of hope for it. If you have to worship an outer god in the Cthulhu mythos, which one would it be and why? P.S. In the Mouth of Madness and Event Horizon are 2 great underrated films. So a lesser god, so like probably Dagon or something. I really like the fish thing. I like the, I'm a lover of the ocean, so I like the idea of worshiping a water god, you know, an ocean god. So probably Dagon, if I had to choose one. Isn't it Dagon? It is Dagon, right? That's the ocean one. The fish. Do you think a civil war is possible theoretically in the U.S. nowadays? Not nowadays. I mean, maybe in the future. Shit'll, like that won't really become a possibility until until it's hard to get food here, till the grocery stores close up shop. When food and water and clean water become an issue, that's when you really are going to start seeing it. Because we're too comfortable. People aren't going to walk away from their mortgages and their house and grab a gun and go fight no civil war. It's just not, you know what I mean? But given the scarcity of resources that's eventually going to come with our hyper exploitation of the planet and our just completely backwards economic system, so when the crash comes and your average Joe Blow starts having a hard time getting his hand on potable water and enough food to feed his family, that's when you'll see the possibility of a civil war. I don't think there'll be a civil war over a political misunderstanding in this country. Speaking of Lovecraft shit, ever play Eternal Darkness? Oh yeah, dude, that's one of my favorite old games. I played that game so many times. I used to love it so much. It's such an underrated game. I really wish they'd remake it. I don't know why they haven't, like Nintendo hasn't. I'm sure they've released it on like the virtual console or something, but why not remake it for the Switch? Eternal Darkness, DX or whatever the fuck, and update the graphics, because it's such a cool game. They haven't even put it on the virtual console? That's so stupid. That game was so fucking great. Like in a Cthulhu investigation game with a sanity mechanic that when your sanity got high enough, the game would literally play tricks on you. Like shit would happen, like your character would just get decapitated. And you'd be like, what the fuck? And you'd fall over and die and go to the loading screen. And then when you loaded, it would go like, you'd wake up and be like, shh. Or like your game would freeze and like blue screen. It would be like, an error has occurred, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, fuck, what the fuck? And you're hammering on all your buttons. And then the dude's like, and you wake up and you're like, oh, it's a sanity effect. Those things were really cool. Oh, dude, I'm jealous as fuck. I love meatloaf. See, meatloaf is one of those things that, like, people, like, they go, ew. And I'm just like, man, your mom must have made some shitty-ass meatloaf, because my mom made bomb fucking meatloaf. Meatloaf is dope. Meatloaf with mashed potatoes and, like, some green beans, some gravy. That's a meal right there, yo. Does anyone have any feelings about World War II prosthetic arm lady in Battlefield 5? I don't even know what you're talking about. Yo, my dad made a meatloaf with bacon on top, so all the bacon juice dripped on the meat. Oh yeah, dude. Mom used to lay strips of bacon over the meatloaf on the top. Like make a hatch of bacon on top and just make it part of the meatloaf. It would just bake on there and get all crispy, and all the juice would just go into the... God damn it, dude, I'm so hungry. I could eat the ass out of a dead rhino right now. Like a rotten ass rhino, dude. Get a pizza. I think it's too late for pizza. I had pizza a couple of days ago. I don't want pizza. If you had one last meal, what would it be? My mom's enchiladas. That's my favorite meal on the planet, is my mom's enchiladas. She makes these, she calls them oki enchiladas because they're not technically, I guess, traditional Mexican style. It's kind of her own thing. But it's like a casserole, basically. Tortillas filled with seasoned ground beef and diced jalapeno and onions and stuff for a filling. And then enchilada sauce and a bunch of cheese just layered on the top and then baked until it's all kind of crispy on the top and golden brown. And you just cut it out. Oh, man. I gotta tell you, dude. That shit right there. I don't know, dude. It's like a transcendent meal. It's so good. You can just keep eating it. Like, I can't stop eating it. When I go back and visit and she asks me, Peaches, what do you want me to make? That's all what I always say. I'm like, enchiladas, mama. Enchiladas time. All right. Might have to hunt down your mom. Dude, I'm telling you, I wish my mom, like, in another life, my mom could have had a restaurant and been really successful. And I think it would have been way more fulfilling work for her than the factory work that she spent up until she retired. She's like, I talk up my mom's cooking to everybody, and people are skeptical. Like, I used to talk it up to TJ and Scotty. I'd be like, man, one of these days you guys got to come visit my mom and get her cooking and blah, 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 blah. And they always acted kind of skeptical. They're like, all right, well, we'll see. And Scotty even admitted to me, he was like, dude, I thought I was going to show up and it was just going to be like, normal food or whatever. And it was just going to be all like nostalgia. And he was like, dude, I was totally wrong. You were so right about your mom. Like, my mom is a legitimate chef, like a cook. in every sense of the word. She can make anything. Anything. Even shit she doesn't know how to make. If she's got a recipe in front of her, it'll come out fucking amazing. But the shit she knows how to make, the shit she's got just memorized, oh my God. Like, you just don't understand. And she can do it all, too. She's good at baking and cooking and frying and all that shit. She knows how to do it all. And never had any formal training, just taught herself how to do it from recipes and shit. Recipes that her mom gave her, recipes she clipped out of magazines. She learned the principles of cooking by doing it. How old is she? She's in her 60s now. What are your top 5 favorite meals she's made? So number 1, obviously, the enchiladas. Number 2, let's see. I guess in rank, so we'll just go and let me start at 5 and we'll work our way up to. So let me see. This is tough. I guess the 5th one would be shit on a shingle. It's a meal she learned how to make when my dad was in the Army because he liked it. It's chipped creamed beef over toast, and it sounds really gross, but my mom makes it biscuits and gravy style. So she makes this homemade white gravy, puts the chipped beef into that, and then pours it all over a big buttery biscuit. It's called shit on a shingle. Well, that's what they called it back in the Army. It's a really cheap, cheap meal. That's why it's eaten a lot in the Army. But oh man, dude, it's one of those poor man's meals that you just can't get enough of. You know what I mean? Number 4 would probably be my mom's hamburgers. She's also a good griller, and she makes just these crazy, super thick hamburgers, and they're juicy, and she presents them with all of the fresh fixings, you know, like freshly sliced Roma tomato, fresh lettuce, freshly sliced onion, every kind of cheese you can imagine. So it's like a build your own kind of burger. All the types of pickles, if you're into that. I'm not a pickle guy. But her burger, when she makes burgers, it comes with all that. Just a giant spread of shit to put on the burger. She sautés mushrooms and shit. Makes bacon. There's a big plate of bacon, so you can throw bacon down on your burger. She goes all out. So definitely number 4 would be her hamburgers. Number 3, this is not even a meal. This is a side dish, but it's legitimately one of my favorite things she makes. Rice pilaf. She makes this rice pilaf in a slow cooker that literally I can eat like a meal because it's so delicious. It's supposed to, she makes it as a side, but she makes a bunch of it because people end up eating more of that than the meal, you know what I mean? So just rice pilaf. Number 2, chili beans. My mom makes the best chili in the world. If you're a chili lover, she makes a pot of chili that'll just like melt your face, like absolutely melt your face. And she can do it however like spicy to taste. So when she's making it for just me, you know what I mean? It's like hot as fuck, so it'll just light you up. She's making it for everybody else. It's, you know, medium heat or lower heat, but it's just always perfect. So I think that takes us through 5 meals, yeah. All the way up to the enchiladas, man. Oh, dude, chili is something else. There's this thing in my little shit town called the Chili Cook-Off, which, you know, it's just like a big chili competition. My mom used to win it almost every year. Just crazy shit. What to do, Paul? On lunch at work, I'll be listening while I bust ass. Keep up the good shizzles and go flex, bro. The chili sounds dang, too. Yeah, it was, dude. Thank you. Dude, I love my mom's chili. So, yep. That doesn't even scratch the surface of the shit she can make. Those are just my favorite things that she does make. Yeah, pilaf is just rice, and it's a simple dish, but the way she makes it is just so good. You can just eat it like a meal. Like I said, you just want to eat, like you eat the whole pile of it, and you want to go back and get more. Another scoop. Cilantro and chili. Yeah, dude. When you doctor up chili, see, that's another thing. My mom's chili isn't just a bowl of chili. It's, you know, she puts out all the shit. She makes bacon, crushes it up so you can crumble some bacon in the chili if you want. Sour cream, chives, cheeses, all shredded. Throw that shit down. Yeah, dude. Good eats. What would you say if I recorded an album of bangers just revolving around you? That'd be pretty cool. If you become a millionaire recording artist based on it, I will sue you and take half your money. I'm kidding. I'm actually not kidding. Fry Paul up like a ham steak with some... no, dude, gross. Travis, get out of here, you troll. Boo. Good evening, mids pids. How are you? My boyfriend broke up with me, found out I'll be legally blind by 30 without extensive surgery, and bills are coming up soon. Feeling pretty beat. How about you guys? Whoa, buddy. That's a bag full of bad news there. But what are you gonna do? What's your favorite culture? Your mom's favorite cultural food? Mine? I think my mom's would probably just be barbecue, American barbecue. I think that's really what she enjoys the most in terms of food, but you'd have to ask her. It's a question that I've probably asked her and don't remember the answer to. But if I had to take a guess, I would say that she really enjoys like slow roasted barbecued meats and all of the things that come with that. For me, it's Mexican food, for sure. No question. Should do a stream with your mom. I asked her to when I was back visiting, not this year, but last year. And she was like, no. She doesn't want to be involved, you know? And I don't blame her. I wouldn't want to drag myself into this bullshit either. It's a shame, but... what are you gonna do? I think you guys would enjoy her. She's funny as fuck. She's very frank, very blunt and to the point, but just one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. It would be cool to, yeah, if she was comfortable with it, to cook with her and film it, do a recipe with her. I made $100 on a magic card today. Hey, cool, for you. I think we're gonna go see Manson at Voodoo Fest. It just depends. I don't know. I'll have to look at finances around that time, but I'm hoping to get to go check it out. Although I gotta be honest with you, I don't really do music festivals anymore. I'm not built for it anymore. You know what I mean? Like I don't have the. I used to love that shit. I used to be able to walk around all day, get drunk all day, and just headbang all day. I can't do that anymore. I'm an old fuck now. Just get a blanket and sit. Get a blanket and sit during Manson? That doesn't make any sense. See, I can't just go to a concert and sit there. Like I still have this instinct in me to go headbang and mosh and shit, so I have to go do that. But I pay for it. Like me and Scotty went and saw Mastodon. Dude, the next day I felt like I'd been hit by a car. I couldn't move my neck because it was sore from the headbanging. Couldn't move anything on me because it was sore from the moshing and bullshit. My old ass can't do that shit anymore, man. Just can't hang. Your first concert was Smash Mouth? Dude, I'm sorry. That sucks. I mean, whatever. Maybe it was a good concert. I don't know. You're pretty much going to get trampled by sitting at a Manson. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Unless you're sitting like way outside of the show and kind of watching from a distance. I prefer to listen to music far from other humans and with non-live stuff. I mean, I like both. If you really love a band, going to see them live can be really, really cool. So, but you know, I spend most of my time like you do, listening on my own in my own time. My first concert was U2. That's cool. I bet U2 puts on a decent concert. I'm not a huge fan of them. You want to go in? Here, I want you to go in. Come on. Fucking dinosaur. I'll be right back. You stay there. You stay there, buddy. Oh. It's you. Take my money while you're not looking? Cool. But I was looking. I saw it. How do you like that? How do you like me now? How am I? IROK. Haven't seen Hereditary yet. I want to see it, but just haven't gotten around to it. I actually finished The Sopranos earlier today, finally. And I gotta say, man, I'm like, I just want to watch the whole series again. I feel like there's so much going on in that series that just watching it one time doesn't do it justice. The ending. I understand what was happening with the ending. I got the ending almost immediately. There's one of the characters, Bobby Bacala, in that show. I remember one time he was talking to Tony, and he was like, "You probably don't even hear it when they do it." You know, he's talking about getting whacked. He's like, "You probably never even know it happened." You know what I mean? It's just lights out. So of course he died. He was whacked. Like, that's the whole point of it. Like, he's sitting in there with his family. He looks up to see his daughter coming through the door and locks eyes with her, and then the screen goes black for 10 seconds. So all throughout this show, we've been invited to experience the show directly, almost through the eyes of Tony Soprano. We get to see his inner thoughts, we get to see his dreams, we get to experience everything that happens in the show through that lens. And so the final act of the show is getting to experience him getting killed. Which, if you're killed, you don't get to see the aftermath. You don't get to see your wife screaming and crying. You don't get to see your daughter and son fucking freaking out. You look up and then it's lights out. And that's exactly how the show ends. Lights out. 10 seconds of complete blackness and total silence. And then credits. Why was he killed? Probably as retribution for any number of the guys that he killed during the show. That's another thing that you're invited to speculate about. In the final couple of seasons, the main antagonist is Phil Leotardo. So you could say that it was in retribution for his murder of Phil Leotardo. You could say it was in retribution for any number of the things that he did during the show. But yeah, no, like the fact that people didn't get that ending, I understand people wanted to see it. People wanted to see Tony, blah, you know, if that's the way it ends, they wanted that big kill shot. But that wouldn't have been, we wouldn't have had an input anymore. You see what I'm saying? The Sopranos doesn't exist without Tony. Tony, it's all told through his perceptive lens. Even the side shit is told with Tony Soprano in mind. So it's like, if he's killed, then who are we seeing through the eyes of anymore? If he's dead, who are we experiencing the show through the eyes of if he's dead? Nobody. So it's really the only way to honestly end it. A show that is literally, like, the only reason it exists is to do the most in-depth character examination of a single person that I've ever seen done in a TV show. To show you his private life, his personal life, his sex life, his dream life, his fantasy life, his life when he's in a coma, a reimagined life. I mean, just an absolute psychological examination of Tony Soprano. It's interesting that the series opens up with him sitting across from his counselor. It's like the show is telling you immediately what it is. This is a full psychological evaluation of this man, Tony Soprano. You get to see how he reacts in public and private and business. Is Tony a psychopath? He's certainly a sociopath. I don't think he's a psychopath, but he's certainly a sociopath. That's explored in the final season so brilliantly, where his doctor finds out that all these years that she spent with him, she's been helping him be a better psychopath or a better sociopath. I didn't enjoy the first episode. Is it worth pursuing? I think so. Yeah, absolutely. Look, dude, it ramps up. It's a slow burn. The first seasons are really good. But they ramp up towards a big finale, and every one of the seasons is like that until the later seasons. Then you get this quieter thing because you've already gotten the established. So the later seasons play with having the peak in the center of the season sometimes, and then having it kind of cascade down from there. Is Tony Soprano the godfather of mobster TV? Mobster TV? I don't know. Mobster TV, what the fuck? Everybody told me so. So how did they whack Tony? How? They whacked him while he was at dinner. So there's a scene where he's waiting, right? It's a really interesting final scene. I went back and watched it a second time. They establish where he is and his perspective by showing him walk into the restaurant, and then there's a jump cut to him sitting in the restaurant, looking at the door he just walked into. And he puts some money in the jukebox, and he plays what's that song by Journey, Strangers or whatever the fuck. He plays that song, and then he sits and waits. There's an establishing thing with the doorbell, the ding, the ring of the door, and he looks up to see who's coming in. And the first time, I don't think it's anybody. I think it's some woman he doesn't know. And he goes back to listening. Just don't stop believing. There you go. And then he hears the ring again after a little bit of the song, and he looks up and it's his wife, and she comes in and sits down. And they talk about who's coming. The kids are coming, but they're coming separately. And then the next time it rings, he looks up and a man walks in. And behind that man is his son. But the man that walks in front of the son is the man that kills Tony Soprano. He sits at the bar and gives Tony a look, and Tony kind of looks at him. Then the son sits down. Then that man at some point gets up and walks around and behind Tony and goes into the bathrooms. Then there's a little bit of dialogue between Tony and his son and Tony and his wife. You hear the ring again. Tony looks up. For a brief moment, you see Meadow Soprano coming in the door. Black. Interesting scene. And a little jarring the first time, but I immediately got it. I was immediately like, oh, they killed him. That guy walked up behind him after he went into the bathroom, acted like he was going into the bathroom. They all eat their onion rings like communion wafer. Oh, I didn't even notice that. That is so cool. So it's like they're taking their last rites. So does that imply that whoever killed him killed his whole family too? Maybe except for Meadow? Because she doesn't take the communion? Wow, that's really cool. I didn't notice that, but I do remember Tony eating the onion ring kind of weird. Like, really cool. See, that's what I mean about going back and checking it out again, because I feel like there's so much that could be easily missed, all of the music is like, and I started noticing it about midway through the season. The music is like, almost like foreshadowing or describing what's going on in the scene. Every song used in this, no song was chosen just because it sounds cool for the scene. Every song that appears in this show has a reason to be there, has a lyric that they want you to hear before the conversation starts. So there's so many layers to that show, man. It's just so brilliant. I don't know what else to say about it. Like, I have a lot to say about it, but I have a feeling I'm just going to have to make some content about it. Do like a season by season review, like a big what the fuck happened to The Sopranos or something. Don't stop. How would you say Don't Stop Believing fits in? Well, if you listen, when Carmela walks in, just a small town girl, doo-doo, living in a lonely world, and then they talk over part of Tony's, but he's it cuts to him, just a city boy, and then they start talking. So I think it was reflective of their journey together, because by that time, it's 8 seasons worth, 8 years worth of crazy happenings in their lives. So I think that probably had something to do with it. I've seen the show 3 times. It's a great show to watch over and over because you always see something different and you see the brilliance in it. I mean, I've already seen the brilliance. It only took one watching for me to see that it was a brilliant show. But yeah, I believe that. Now that I know that it's a subversive show, see, I thought when I started watching it, it was just kind of a big, dumb, ham-fisted, fun gangster drama. But about a season in, I knew it was something else. I was like, oh, this is not what I thought it was. I mean, it is, but it really isn't. What about Breaking Bad? What about it? Well, it's not just aspects of life for a mobster. It gets into the psychology of a mobster. And it provides anytime it tries to teach you a lesson, it teaches you the adverse lesson. So anytime it tries to make Tony look like a human being, like a relatable person, like somebody who maybe could be redeemed, he shows you that he isn't. Anytime you think that maybe this mob life isn't as violent as it's cracked up to be, and maybe it could be redeemed, the show shows you that it isn't. Every relationship in the film in the show is so complex and so filled with nuance. Like even the kids who start out as really young kids and kind of grow into their roles and become really interesting, they disappear for a little while out of the story and other things are covered. But when you come back to the kids as adults, there's really just interesting storylines wrapped up in them. No character is a throwaway character in the show. I noticed every situation Tony gets out of, it's only by the skin of his teeth, like when he ran from the feds or those two black guys that tried to rob him at gun. Yeah. I mean, he's constantly, like, he's on the brink of death how many times in this film? He cheats death. I don't know. I bet somebody has counted. I bet it's over a dozen times over the course of the 8 seasons. Tony Soprano somehow evades death. The car accident with Christopher in the final season, the shooting in the penultimate season, all the things you mentioned. I mean, it's got to be at least 10, right? Well, whatever. I think of it as a film. It's done in the quality of a film. See, I can't look at Tony as a villain. As much as he is the villain of the show, I can't look at him that way. He's too humanized now. He's too real. He's just a human being. He's a human being that chose a very dangerous line of work. Yeah, he's definitely an anti-hero for sure. But I think he invites people to want to see themselves in him, which is interesting. It's a sign of a good character. Do you say he's a guy who got corrupted? Absolutely not. In fact, the show addresses that. He was a guy that was raised to be what he was. His mother was an absolute fucking sociopath. Incapable of expressing any joy, a borderline personality, who was mentally abusive to him. His father was a violent sociopath. Once again, the head of a fucking big family. The New Jersey mob or whatever was under his father. Uncle June, oh man, dude, what a great character, and what a sad, oh man, I just want to cry thinking about his send-off. I hated it. I hated to see it. I loved it as a scene, but man, that was the saddest, one of the saddest I'm almost gonna cry just thinking about it. That moment, man, when he says goodbye to his Uncle Junior, oh my God, and Junior was such a sly, business-minded thing at the beginning, and to see him stripped to nothing, you know what I mean? He doesn't die. He's just reduced to an old man that can do nothing but stare out the window at the birds all day and doesn't remember anybody or who he was. Oh man, so sad. because he was so vibrant and alive and smart and acerbic and witty, and easily my favorite character in the early seasons. I mean, Junior just shines, and they just rip him to pieces. They just absolutely deconstruct his character and take him all the way down to nothing. And man, what a beautiful examination of that character too. Yeah, that line, he's like, yeah, you ran North Jersey with my dad, Johnny Boy. He goes, oh, that's nice. We did? That's nice. Because you don't remember who I am, do you? God, it's so sad. So great, though. God, man, gut-wrenching. So many of those scenes in this film, or this show, sorry. So many. It's endless, beautiful realization. Like, fucking, what's his name? Chris. What's his last name? Fuck. I'm brain farting on his last name, but Jesus Christ, a great character as well. Another multi-layered guy that they just won't let you like him, but then you have to like him. Yeah, it's Moltisanti. Moltisanti. There it is. Chris Moltisanti. Yeah. Yeah, man. And his girlfriend from the earlier seasons, Ada, was great. I don't know, dude. Everybody in it is great. All the side characters, all the subplots, all the big villains and antagonists and protagonists that show up. And man, Adriana, yeah, Aid. They called her Aid, not Ada. It's like I said, it's been a few seasons since I've seen her. All the Mafia characters were great in their own way. That's one of the things that make, well, you know, even the guys that were just total meatheads, like Silvio and Paulie, like, those guys, like, they start off as just kind of meathead, kind of, you know, stereotypes almost, like, oh, bada boom, bada bing, hey, oh, but you get to see their psychology too. You get to see into their inner lives. Like, one of the sad moments in the show to me was the first time we see how Paulie Galtieri lives. Because he's presented as this wingtip wearing, you know, silver side hair gangster guy with the suits and the, you know, listen to me. He's very smooth, very violent, very respected amongst his peers. And then, you know, a couple of seasons in, you're introduced to where he lives. And he doesn't have a woman. He doesn't have any children. He's single, and he lives in this shitty little apartment. Dingy, tiny little TV, eats TV dinners all the time. He just, you know what I mean? You see how he lives and you're like, whoa. The gulf that's between him and Tony Soprano, who lives this charmed life, got a big, beautiful house, a beautiful family that he loves, you know, cars and all the things that people chase after. And you got this guy that works directly for him, one of his captains, Paulie Galtieri, and he lives in this shitty little apartment all by himself, with a tiny little old TV on a TV stand and shit. You know, but they present the same way when they're out in public. Paulie's flashy and well-dressed and, you know what I mean? He's all the things that Tony is when he's out. Whoa. Yeah, I unbanned George Costanza because he asked nicely. He like came to me on Twitter or something. He was like, "Hey, dude, I'm George Costanza, man, and I'm like, could you unban me, bro?" And I was like, "Oh, Okay, cool. I will, and I did. I kind of missed him, honestly. I don't know. I don't remember why I banned him, but I'm glad George is back in here and trolling again. The good old days are back, man. The good old bad George Costanza days are back. Have I done any smelly farts lately? Smelly? Nah. My cat is named George Costanza. Oh, good for your cat. I haven't seen anything about Cyberpunk 20. Guys, I gotta be honest, I don't do the video game hype train shit anymore. I don't watch E3 anymore. I just can't do it. It all got too shitty. If it's a good game, I'll look at it when it comes out, you know, and if it looks like it's cool, I'll play it. But I don't do like the holy shit, man, I'm like pulling my putt over Cyberpunk 20. I just don't do that anymore. I've been, you know, I've been done wrong too many times. I've gotten fired up about games too many times only to get a pile of shit delivered to me. You know, so I just don't do it anymore. I don't pay attention to anything until it's out and playable. And then I'll play it, and if it's good, I'll buy it. Answer the question, pal. I'm a broken man. How so? Old Paul looks nothing like young Paul. Well, I mean, yeah, young Paul didn't have a big beard and wasn't an old man. Like, newsflash, kid. When you're 38, you're not gonna look like you did when you're fucking 14 or whatever you are now. You too will get old. Take a look at your future, motherfucker. The ravages of age come for us all. The scythe of death cares not for the stalk of wheat. It comes for us all. It's coming. Chugga, 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 chugga. You listened to or even heard of Tom McDonald? I couldn't tell you a song by him. The name sounds familiar, but no, probably not. I actually didn't know, but the people who made Witcher 3 and are making Cyberpunk also made what? Good Old Games? What? They own Good Old Games or whatever? That's kind of cool. I thought I was old ever since I hit 20. I mean, I thought I was old before 20. I've always been like, I'm old, I'm old, I'm old. And now when I say it, it's kind of true. But I still get people going, no, you're not. You're not even 40. Like, even a 40-year-old isn't old. Like, 60 is old. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. Yeah, dude, I bob too. All your base are belong to us. 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 Remember the fucking techno song with all the memes, dude? All the old memes about Ayabob 2. My dad is 60 and I don't want to think of him as old. He's old. If he's 60, he's old. Both my parents is old now too. It's okay. I'm 28. Can I file for Social Security? Yeah, can I retire? I'm 28, man. I've been working for like 8-9 years now. Can I just cash in and live? I'm ready to just go live at the beach. The last DFF made me depressed knowing that so many Americans are gullible enough to follow for snake oil shenanigans. Well, whatever. People are stupid, man. What are you gonna do? You know? Best thing you can do is to try to not be stupid yourself. Now, I have not attained that yet, but I'm striving for it at the very least. I'm trying to climb up Intelligence Hill out of Stupidity Valley, you know? I'm not just mulling around picking berries off the floor. I'm trying, I'm halfway up the slope or some shit. I'm trying to get there, at least. Paul, his brain as smooth as a ball. What? Hey, even more depressed, millions of foreigners love Dr. Phil. Oh, yeah. There's even more stupid people outside of America. You think America is stupid? Go outside of America. People are profoundly stupid pretty much everywhere. There's a few countries that can claim to have a pretty well-educated populace, but most places on the planet, from what I've seen, dummies rule the streets. Think about that shit. Dummies rule the streets in every country. Stupidity is the status quo in every major country, except for, like I said, a couple. I don't know. Switzerland is probably pretty well educated. Some of the Nordic countries, Iceland. Is America the dumbest country on earth? No, not by a long shot. I mean, well, it depends on what kind of intelligence you're, measuring. If you're measuring baseline human intelligence without an eye towards training, then I don't know what the stupidest country is going to be. Did you know your great-grandparents? No. Oh, wait. Yes. I knew my great-grandma. She's the only great-grandparent I ever got to interact with. But yes, I did get to meet my great-grandmother on my dad's side. So. Most people are around the average IQ of their given country's average. Oh, okay. Do you think that you should pay more in taxes personally? I'd be happy to. I would be happy to pay more in taxes as long as it resulted in a social benefit. So sure, I'd be happy to pay more taxes. I think Americans are some of the worst when it comes to geography. Probably. I made a joke about how small your pee-pee was. Oh, I'm so sorry I missed it, George. I'm sure it was brilliant. Man, what a fucking crying shame. Americans are the best at loving the word. A progressive won the primary in Florida. Hey, cool. Stupid people are happier. You gotta give them that. Yeah, that's true. Maybe that's the point. Maybe the idea is to quit trying to get smart and to get dumb, so that you can get dumb, complacent, and happy. Maybe I've been chasing the wrong thing. Maybe I need to just jump down there in the valley and start picking berries with the rest of the morons and see how that works. Intelligence is a dead end. There you go, Billy. I like this thinking. Let's turn it in on itself. Humans are too smart. That's why we got all this bullshit problems we're dealing with. We're too smart for our own good. We need to dumb ourselves down. We need to become apes again. Hashtag become apes again. Hashtag drop out. Hashtag get out of school. Hashtag boycott college. Hashtag watch more TV. Hashtag make more hashtags. Yep, time to become apes again. It is time, brothers and sisters, after the long night of technology and intelligence and suffering body and mind from the slings and arrows of intelligence. It is time, brothers and sisters, to walk hand in hand back to the jungle. It is time to start watching endless hours of Home Shopping Network and reruns of old, Ricky Lake shows. It is time, brothers and sisters, for us to stop striving for the goal of reaching the stars. We are but apes. We are but apes. And it is time that we walk away from all of this, back to the jungle, to be happy and free, to live as we evolved to live, to not be shackled to an office job. Let's get stupid again. Let's stop being a bunch of smartasses. Let's stop the endless competition of who can mess up the world quicker by being the smartest dude. We're but apes. It's time we start acting like it. All right, I gotta go. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.